First and foremost, congratulations to Coach McDermott and the Bills. They did a great job. When you look at a lot of the ways that this game unfolded, I feel a huge sense of responsibility to this team. We weren't ready to go. I take a lot of pride in that, and that's on me. I got to do better. There was a lot of decisions that I made that I felt like didn't put our players in good enough spots. This was a humbling experience, but we're going to stay connected. We're going to all look inward. We're going to do a better job moving forward, but you give credit to the Bills, and then we've got to understand that we've got to have that mindset and mentality to be able to move forward accordingly, but I do take a lot of responsibility in this. It was a very humbling night, but one that, hey, you got to be able to look yourself in the mirror, say, I got to be better within the framework of my role. That's exactly what I'm going to do. That's what I know our coaches are going to do. That's what our players are going to do. And we're going to stay together, and we're looking forward to our next opportunity to be resilient and respond.
How much, Sean, was this a lack of your guys not playing in the preseason, which is what you always do, and how much of this was a lack of just flat-out execution?
Yeah, I'm not, we've done that consistently. Bottom line is I didn't do a good enough job getting us ready to go to our capabilities. I have total belief and confidence in what we can do moving forward. Whether we won tonight or whether we had a humbling experience like this, we've got 16 games guaranteed left. And we're going to dust ourselves off. We're going to look ourselves in the mirror. We're going to be accountable to the things that we can all do better within the framework of our roles. And we're going to move forward the right way. And that's all I know how to do. This hasn't been the first setback that we've experienced, and we're going to respond the right way. I do trust that, and all I know how to do is look at this film, correct it, put together a good week of preparation, and be ready to go against the Falcons next week. But there's no way to put it other than, didn't do a good enough job. It starts with me, and then we can overall execute better in a lot of areas.
So what is your level of, I would say, anger or frustration about what happened this evening?
Yeah, I think more than anything, Jim, I just feel a sense of letting a lot of people down that I care about, within what I can do a better job of, whether that's making better decisions from some of the play calls, just the overall feel for the flow of the game. For that, I'm not going to run away from, the mistakes that I made tonight, but I do trust, like I was saying, hey, we're going to fix this, and that's all we know how to do. We're going to do everything in our power for that, and that's the mindset and mentality that we're going to take.
And did it seem like the Bills were getting a lot of pressure with just 4?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they didn't rush 5 really at all tonight. And, for them to be able to do that, it's a real credit to them. We're on our silent count. Whatever I'm going to say right now is going to be an excuse. But I think, I put our guys in too many of those tough situations. Credit to Vaughn and their rush. They did an outstanding job. They're an excellent defense. But we've got to be better, and it starts with me. A guy that just continued to compete. He's a tough-minded guy, standing in there, no flinch, getting hit a lot, and didn't have a whole lot of time. But I love Matthew Stafford. There was a couple unfortunate balls that get tipped up, but those are some of those things. I know he's going to continue to compete. Love Matthew, and we're going to keep riding.
I know you haven't looked at the film yet, but him getting sacked 7 times, is that offensive line? Is it holding the ball? Is it coverage sacks?
I think it's a combination of a lot of things. I think first and foremost, I look at myself inwardly. Did you give yourself a chance to settle into a rhythm, or were they able to tee off? There were some instances where, we're on our silent count. They did a good job being able to jump the count. Bottom line is we've all got to be a little bit better. And like I said, it starts with me, and I got to do a better job of putting our players in better spots to have success, to get into the feel and the flow of a game. And we never were really able to settle in offensively, and I take a huge responsibility in that, Kurt.
You guys were able to create several turnovers in the first half. What happened in the second half?
I think, we had some outstanding individual efforts to be able to create those turnovers, Dennis. They did a good job of being able to make some plays. They were incredibly efficient on third downs, and, hats off to them. But I love the way that our guys continue to battle, continue to compete. I think that shows the character of this group, and we're going to respond. Yeah, we really just didn't get in much of a rhythm tonight, Kevin, so it was tough to get anything. I'd like to get Allen more involved, like to get a lot more guys involved, but like I said, overall, just total, it was a tough night for us, and it was a poor night in terms of the overall decision-making from my standpoint, and that's something that I'm looking forward to correcting.
Any signs of what we would call a Super Bowl hangover, just kind of trying to get back into it after that kind of a season?
I think it's too early to really say that. I think we're going to get an opportunity to be able to respond. That's an excellent football team. Don't want to take any credit away from what they deserve. They came out, they were ready to go. Coach McDermott had them ready to roll in all 3 phases, and we didn't do a good enough job. We got beat tonight. And sometimes those things happen in sports, Gary. I definitely am not going to use that as an excuse. We just didn't play well enough tonight. I didn't coach well enough, and we'll get an opportunity to respond next week.
I wanted to ask you about the Bills' third down rate, particularly and specifically the 2 touchdowns on third down and the penalty that shortened the third down that was unconverted.
Yeah, that was tough. We had a substitution error right there, Jordan, and really, I thought their execution was pretty good. We were tight. They were tight window throws and catches. Josh was able to create a little bit with his legs, and so you give credit to those guys. That's going to be a really, really good football team. You see why all the credit that they've had and praise in the offseason. They did a great job of living up to that tonight, and I'll be very surprised if that's not an excellent football team as the season continues to progress. Regardless of that, I expect us to be able to be better. We will, and that's where we're looking forward to. Hey, let's look at this film. Let's make the corrections, and then let's implement the right processes and planning to be able to eliminate those things from occurring next week against a tough Falcons outfit.
This is a new experience, a new experience for you since you've been the coach, losing an opener.
Yeah.
What's that feel like?
Well, tonight was a humbling night. And I think, anytime that you start to accumulate a little bit more experience, there's always going to be first for everything, whether it's losing it when you're leading at halftime, whatever it is. But my favorite part about sports, Gary, is the opportunity to respond. This is just chapter 1 of a guaranteed 17 chapters that we have. And looking forward to coming out swinging with these guys to the best of our ability. Okay? Thank you, guys.
could go wrong, did go wrong?
Yeah, we definitely we can play a whole lot better than that. I know that. You know, and you know, as disappointing as tonight is, you never want to start the season away that way. It really doesn't matter if it's the first game, last game, whatever it is. You want to win them all. Didn't accomplish that goal tonight. Didn't play well enough to do it. I thought our defense played great in the first half. They get us turnovers like that. We got to do something better with the football, capitalize with it, get more points out of those. You know, obviously I can't give it to them in some of those instances, but you know, overall execution and just our capability of playing better. There's a whole lot more there. So the one thing that gives me you know, a good feeling is knowing the guys in that locker room and knowing how we're gonna, you know, all band together, look at each other, look inward first, and go, hey, what can I do to be better for the guy next to me? That starts with our head coach. He's always preaching that to us, and you know, that's real stuff for us as players. That's how we act, and you know, we believe in that locker room.
In terms of the pressure they were bringing with just 4, what did you see and what was so effective that they were doing?
They did a nice job. You know, I think if we're a little bit more efficient on first down, second down, you know, get ourselves into some favorable situations. I can obviously be more efficient if I'm more efficient. You know, those drives are a little bit longer. It's a little bit tougher on those guys up front, but got to give them credit. They did a really nice job of affecting the game up front. And in the back end, did a really great job of, I mean, keeping a top on it. I mean, they just played 2 high safety basically the entire game. Played some old school 3, which I haven't seen in a long time. You know, trying to rotate to Cooper, but you know, it wasn't anything earth-shattering. They just did a nice job of playing.
Was there any reason that Allen Robinson didn't seem to be open more, Matthew, from what you saw?
You know what? I think they played. I'm trying to think back. I'm not going to get it right, but it maybe 2 snaps a man. You know, so I mean, it's a lot of zone. They clouded to the boundary quite a bit. Allen saw a lot of you know, cover 2 over there. I can still do a better job, I think, of getting them the ball in some instances. But they were doing a nice job of trying to keep a top on it and trying to cover us up.
Just to clarify, when you say they're playing a defense that you hadn't seen in a while, on a night when you get sacked 7 times, did you feel you were holding it on more? Those are coverage sacks?
No, I mean it's a basic coverage. I don't want to say it's a not a lot of people play nickel safety same side cover 3, so they did. It wasn't earth-shattering stuff. It was just, well, okay. I hadn't seen that in a while. We hadn't gotten that in a long time, but didn't feel like that was a reason that we were holding on to it or anything.
You put such an emphasis in the offseason towards protecting the ball this year.
Yeah.
Is that part of the ingredient in 7 sacks at all?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, anytime, you know, that happens in a game, you know, I'm going to have a handful, you know, that I feel like I can do a better job of. You know, it was, got to make sure that I'm taking what the defense gives me while still trying to be aggressive. And on a night like this where playing a little bit of catch up and they're doing a nice job of rushing, I just got to do a better job of maybe trying to get it out in some instances. There's no question about that. That's not a offensive line stat. That's a team stat on offense. You know, and I can do a way better job of helping those guys out as well.
Did the crowd noise affect you at all tonight?
No, I mean, we prepared for it. We prepared to be on, you know, the silent count at home again, but it wasn't, you know, something that we haven't done before.
Matthew Von Miller was on your team 6 months ago. Now it's rushing you. Was there any advantage that he had in terms of just facing you guys having been with you last year?
You know, I don't know. You probably have to ask him. You know, I'm sure he's gotten more reps against our guys up front, but I mean, I don't know. Every play is different. You know, he's still got a ton of juice and playing at a high level.
Forgive me if I'm saying this wrong,
You're fine.
but in terms of what they were presenting defensively, did that have anything to do with, it seemed like you guys were going a little bit heavier personnel, Ben Skowronek in line, Cooper in line some, Allen being the only detached player?
No. You know, I think, you know, we do a decent amount of that stuff, no matter who we're playing, you know. I didn't feel like it was out of the ordinary as you know, what we normally kind of do, I would say.
Just a couple more guys.
Matthew, you
I was
talked.
just gonna ask, so what can you do better moving forward?
Yeah, definitely. I could play more efficient, you know, try to get the ball out quicker, get it to those guys in better spots, you know, so we're catching and running with it. They were doing a nice job of playing deep to short, and, you know, the better ball I can get to those guys, the quicker they can turn and run with it, you know, and then I can just try to, you know, play within myself as much as I possibly can. Don't try to force anything in any situation, and then just keep leading and keep fighting.
The Bills have been pegged as a Super Bowl contender. as you are as well. Did you find them to be just an outstanding team?
Yeah, really great roster. Obviously, really well coached. Did a nice job tonight. I thought our defense did a great job of, shutting down their offense in the first half, getting some turnovers for us. We weren't able to capitalize, but top to bottom, it's a really good roster, and if they stay healthy, they'll be, a really good football team, I imagine.
We saw Odell talking to the team before the game. Did you get to talk to him at all?
I'm sorry, who?
With Odell?
Oh yeah, I saw him quickly before the game. Just said what's up to him. Obviously a great teammate of mine, and happy to see him and see him walking around and looking healthy.
All set.
Appreciate it.